Hey everyone, Cursed Deck Builder here, making our way to 10,000 decks assisted, and here we have our 1% done channel update. I realized a few days ago that we've hit 100 deck assist videos, and if we're trying to hit 10,000 decks, that's 1%. My goodness, I'm not going to try to think about how old I'm going to be by the time this is over. That being said, I wanted to first thank everyone about for like supporting me and enjoying this channel. This channel is really for fun, and I really enjoy looking at all of your decks and hopefully trying to help them grow. And I've been really flabbergasted by, the attention and the support I've received. So thank you so much for that. Now, for this video though, I wanted to give a little channel update of things that are on my mind, but also open it up so if you guys have comments or ideas or opinions on some of the things I'm saying, I would love to hear them. Like this channel is for me, but at the same time, I'm really enjoying how people have kind of connected to it, and I would like to find a nice symbiosis that we all are having fun and enjoying it, and that no one, I do want to grow the channel and, improve it. And I would like, you know, people to have fun when they come and visit it. So here are my thoughts and ideas that I've, put together. And I'd love to hear your opinions down below in the comments. All right, here's the first idea thought. I do have to learn image and video editing. I know this has probably been a long time coming. I've made 100 videos and put them up here, and I haven't done really any editing at all, and that's not ideal. I think for sure I'm working a bit on a fun little channel icon, nothing too good because I am not skilled in these ways, but otherwise, I'm going to slowly put my mind to it and try to improve these things over time. I'm getting some software, and I have a few friends and people who have offered to help or guide me or give ideas, so I can work on that a little bit. I will say it's going to take me a bit. This is definitely not my real, adult job. This isn't something that makes me any money really. This is just for, fun for all of us. So I have a limited amount of time that I can spend on the channel. So I am going to try to improve these things, but it's going to take a little time. All right, so let's talk about the ideas that I'm looking for opinions on or things that I'm thinking for the future of the channel and see if this interests people and whatnot. There has been this thing I've been working on the side of what I'm calling deck building lessons videos or deck building lesson videos, where they're videos that aren't about a deck and more like an instructive kind of, you know, things to think about when deck building or deck building tips. A lot of them are going to be the tests and tricks that I apply when I look at a deck and how I measure cards coming out and how I, just build decks in general, right? Card evaluation. And there's probably going to be some stuff about like deck playing as well, of like tips of how to win commander games and how to like establish a group where you all get along and feel that everything's fair. I know there's always, especially online, there's a lot of interest in cultivating a good play group and like, people not feeling good or um, people wishing to have a better setup with their friends so everyone feels like they're having a good time. And I feel like I touch on those as well. These things can be difficult. Like deck building isn't easy. Anyone who's told you that deck building is easy is lying to you. The amount of work that people do when they send me their decks is astonishing all the time. It doesn't matter if it's a quickly cobbled idea or something they've worked on for months. It takes a lot of work to make a commander deck, especially. And so it's always impressive when people put their ideas together. And then to give that to someone else and say, hey, critique it, that's really courageous. And I do really appreciate the trust that my viewers have for me to be able to look at their decks and help them. But even at my level, like it is hard to improve commander decks. There's so many rules. Magic is a complicated game. Sometimes you just don't know about cards. And there's decks that you're just missing out on the perfect card because it's just never come on your radar before. It's regular that when I see these commander decks that I see cards I've never seen, or I think of strategies I've never seen before. And it really, I mean, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of the fun of this to see new things and see how people's minds work. So this is a difficult thing, and deck building is fun, but takes a lot of talking and a lot of intrinsic learning that nobody really teaches you. So I was hoping to make those videos to help that. I've already kind of started on those, so that one's probably happening for sure, but I just don't know when they'll be coming out. All right, here's a few other things that have been on my mind. The length of videos. This is something I've been thinking about since the channel's inception. I was really hoping that the videos would be like 15 to 20 minutes long when I started, and that was just a lie. That was just, it's just impossible. There's just so much to talk about. And though, yes, I could be a little more pointed in my speaking, and I do sometimes ramble, I don't feel like I could be, doing these decks justice by like compiling it into a 10, even 10 minutes seems like there's not really much I can tell you about your deck in 10 minutes. We need to talk about the curve, we need to talk about the cards, we need to talk about what's missing, strategies, things like that, look at the commander. And I still want to explain the general things to our viewers because not everyone will be familiar with the strategy or the commander. And so because of that, these videos are taking up more and more time. I think for a while I was really excited that they had settled around 30 minutes, and it seems like this week they're settling around 40 minutes, which is a lot. YouTube doesn't seem to mind too much. It does like that I am making the videos around the same length. I recognize there's a real length to them. So at this moment, I don't really know what the solution is. I really, really don't want to cut them down to, hey, thanks for your deck. Here's 10 cards in, 10 cards out, because I don't think that's helpful. Like, if someone just suggests cards to put into your deck and suggests cuts, but doesn't explain to you why or the thought process behind it, or like talk about the power level and direction of the deck that these cards change, I feel like the experience is kind of hollow. That's just me. I recognize there's a whole instant gratification thing, and I totally get that, but I think the work I'm trying to put in for these videos requires a little more time and depth than 10 minutes. And YouTube keeps telling me to make shorts, and I don't know objectively what I can talk to you about in a short beyond, hey, this is a new commander. It's gonna be good. Or a lot of those clickbaity, here's 5 commanders that I really hate videos, which I could make for days, but I don't think they'd be particularly instructive. The next thing would be the number of videos per week. I've been trying to do like 10-ish videos a week. Obviously, I can't leave this room until I make 10,000 decks, so the faster I do it, the more, I can get on with my life. But until then, there is kind of this limitation. Right now, my setup is such that I can make these videos weekly. That might change in the future, and I might have to cut down on the number of videos. If I cut down on the number of videos, perhaps it enables me to do more editing and more effort on each of the videos. But it does cause a bit of a problem because there is a limit to, you know, eventually the decks are going to either repeat themselves or we're going to explore so many options that there's no longer like, I don't know, my fear is that at a certain point there's not a general kind of interest in seeing the same decks over and over again. And right now we're getting through a nice variety of decks, and I like that. But if people were waiting a week for a single look at a new commander deck and it's another Atraxa Blink deck, which I love Atraxa Blink since I've built it, it's fantastic. Um, then there's not really like I don't want to spoil people's appetite by doing that. So the number of videos a week is something I'm thinking about. I imagine it'll be very much so, dictated by my life, and we will see as we go on. All right, the next thing. This is just a little thing that I thought of almost in my sleep last night, actually. I woke up and I thought of this. Would there be interest in me adding a quote unquote grading scale? Now, I reckon this came from the idea that I need to kind of make the thumbnails a bit better. Obviously, I've just been taking pictures of magic cards and just putting them on there because it's easy and I don't know how to edit things. But if I'm going to put a little text, right? Like I'm thinking of that Arwen deck that I really liked, and I could put like in big bold letters, Arwen infect question mark question mark. You know, that whole kind of really intriguing, ooh, clickbaity stuff that people seem to enjoy. I can do that for sure. And then it made me think, should I be giving these decks a grade, like out of 10 or a lettered grade, A plus, B, C? And I'm going to leave this up to you guys to tell me because I don't, right now, if I don't hear anything about this, I'm not going to do it. But my thoughts are it can be really helpful for people to look at the deck and understand what level of successfulness I think the deck is at, or what level of completion the deck is at almost being a complete good deck. However, on the other side, I don't want someone to submit a deck to me and then I say C plus and they feel bad about it. That's not the intention at all, right? A C plus has an idea of failure associated to it, but I don't want that impression to come across, right? I want people to feel like, yeah, your deck is coming along, but it's an early stage and it's fine. This is how we improve our decks, but right now it's not quite out there. And if this was an assignment, I'd give it a C plus. So I'm not sure how the feeling is. I know it can be helpful, but it might put people off. So if you got, especially about this note, if you guys have any opinions, I'd really, really like to hear it. Once again, if I don't hear anything, if no one comments at all, I'm not gonna go ahead and do it. All right. The last thing about opinions and ideas, and this one is very nebulous, but I'm gonna call this build me a deck. Would people be interested in me just building decks for them? And this one is tricky and nebulous because it's going to be difficult, right? Because I don't know to what point I will be willing to do this because it's a lot of work. Because I want to build someone a really good deck and I want them to be happy with it, and that's got a limit to them. So there's several ways to do this. Where one of this can be like a bonus, like I don't have Patreon or anything like that, but like along the line, something like that, where someone who is subscribing and like, being a high value Patreon member or something can occasionally ask me to build them a deck, and I can do that as something that happens once in a very long time. And I think that would be fun. However, if this is a feature where someone wants to like send a deck in, like sending a deck in to me, they want to send me an idea and say, please build this deck, it might require, like monetary compensation because it is a lot of time. And I don't want to build you a deck in 20 minutes. You're not going to enjoy it. It's just going to be pretty cut and paste. And I don't think that's going to be a satisfying exchange between you and I. I'm not going to be proud of my work, and you're just going to be somewhat okay with the deck. And I don't know if that means, so the middle ground would be of that is that, I can say I do deck building and it's this much per hour, and you get to decide how much you want to send me and how many hours I'll work on it. It's very transactional, but I think it's a way that everyone feels like the work that's being put in is to their satisfaction. Everyone leaves feeling satisfied with what's going on. The alternative is that this is a much, much bigger process where if people are really interested in building decks with me, I can make it a part of the show. This can be like we can have conversations or a voice call. I can record them. I can make them part of the process. And I can make that into a big video I make like once a month or something like that. And we can use it to talk about deck building and ideas. But that's a huge job. And like expensive in both time and effort. So though I think that would be really, really cool, I don't know where it, how that can actually be at this moment. Just something to consider. I am really open to the idea of building people decks and putting them together and doing that. Uh, I would have to see that people are really interested and are interested in really talking about the idea before I can go forward on it, though. All right. The last thing I wanted to talk about is general future thoughts. These are things I'm thinking about the channel that, once again, are just kind of nebulous, but they're just out there, and I wanted to throw them out there. The first thing is a live stream. I know that's something some people do. A lot of people don't seem to like live streaming. I think this kind of process is the most live streamable thing imaginable because you're just watching me go through a deck anyway, so it's no different if it is live or it is not live. I don't do too much prep. Once again, I have a limitation on time when I'm doing this. So if I was going to make a live stream every now and then, we could just create a queue of a bunch of decks and we try to get through them while chatting, having a good time, hanging out, talking about Magic. I would particularly like that, but we don't have that many subscribers, we don't have that many viewers, so I don't know how realistic it would be. I I have nightmares of opening a live stream and nobody comes. It would break my heart. I have a tiny, tiny heart and it's easy to break. The other one someone said in a comment was asking about gameplay videos. If you would like me, if you'd like to watch me play Commander. Um, I think that's kind of cool. It's a bit out of my means at the moment, but I mean, you can watch me play Commander on another channel. I've sent a link into one of my videos, and I'll see the next time a video is posted with me in it, I will try to make sure people know so they can see it. But what I can do is try to talk to, because my friend has a setup and he's got a really nice setup for this kind of stuff, and I can see if I can borrow it for like an event, for a video, and I'll, babysit his kid or like wash his car or something to make up for it. So it is something I'm thinking about. The feasibility of it is a bit tough, but I can make it happen. It really depends if you want to watch me play Magic. You might not, and I totally get that, but I leave that to you. And the last general thing is I am open to ideas. This is not really as much mine as it is all of ours because we're kind of figuring it out as we go. So if you have opinions, ideas of what you would like, what you'd like to see, I would love to hear them. There's certain things that just won't be feasible. If you're like, hey, Kirst, could you please, you know, have every card you talk about appear on the page when you're talking about them? We're not there yet. That's going to depend on my editing skills and the time there. So certain things I can't do. But if there's certain things you want to hear about, if there's certain ideas you think that would make this easier for everyone, I would love to hear it and try to work on it. I think that's generally it. So if you have questions, comments, all of that, just put it below. I'd love to hear it. This is collaborative, so I'm very excited to answer questions and be around. All right, I think that's really it. 1% feels pretty good, I'm not going to lie. Um, I think I will note that there will be times I will have to stop and take a break. I am getting married soon, and not that I don't love you guys, but I will be taking that time off. It's probably a few weeks, and otherwise, holidays and stuff, I'll probably have to take off as well. But I do enjoy doing this. I want to make this clear. I do really, really like this, and I want to continue doing it. And I'm glad that you guys seem to like it too. And if I can make this more enjoyable for you, more enjoyable for me, you know, we'll have a great time. All right, until next time, good luck with your deck building, and I'm really excited to see the things you guys have been working on.